MacArthur or Moses?
You see the little pipe right there. Yeah.
If the Gales are the 10 lost tribes, then it could be either way. You know?
But Moses was probably 2 stars lower than MacArthur, right?
Certainly in MacArthur's mind, they were. Okay. Let me catch my breath and then I'll orient people. Let the truck pass.
Does this seem at all familiar?
I mean, maybe I'm naive, but it does. That area over there where it's more like cleared out, that's the TOC. The Tactical Operations Center was over there, more or less. And the Tactical Operations Center was where the general stayed, and it was dug into the ground so that the general was protected all the time because he was underground. The rest of us guys, but he and the staff worked underground, and that was their area. And the key staff surrounded the Tactical Operations Center in tents. And our tent was right next to the antennas on top of the Tactical Operations Center, just to make sure that when they fired the mortars at the antennas, that our guys would be right there. And that's why every night when it rained, we were attacked. Every night in February and March it rained, we were attacked. And we were attacked from back there, and they fired mortars coming down that way onto the TOC, and my men slept over there. Oh my God. My men slept over there, and we worked over there. And they were when they attacked us by rockets and mortars coming in from that direction, they went to get where our workers stayed, my guys, on our tents, to the TOC, hoping they could somehow knock the antennas down or even penetrate it. Then this was the airstrip, which had planes on it. The choppers came in right over there where we were, right by our tent. Even when it was 100 degrees, 110 degrees, we had to keep our flaps closed on the tent because the choppers were coming in and out and they made all dust out of this stuff. It was dusty all the time. So we were over there, and then it went down to attack the petroleum. And on May the 17th, we took a huge attack that came right across here, right down there, and it hit the petroleum, and it made the national news, and Rini saw it. It was the front page story I later saw in the Balmer Sun, which I couldn't believe when I found it. The giant banner headline was, "First Air Cavalry Base Camp Hit, 35 Killed." And it was that particular attack, not the February and March every night ones, which were bad enough. But that was the big one on the base camp. I lost my men. One of my men, Bob Wiedemann, kept the enemy situation, a great guy, kept the enemy situation in way, and he had, when the battle way was over, he was such a good kid, but they were all 19. And so we were a little bit behind in way in late March, and we were getting ready to move out in 2 days for the relief of Khe Sanh. So I told all the guys they needed to catch up, and he was a little bit behind. And so instead of going back to his tent at 7 o'clock at night, which would have been the routine, and hang out with his buddies, I asked him to stay and bring his paperwork up so we'd have it ready to the minute in case we had to move out instantly. And that night he spent from 7 to midnight with me working on updating the enemy situation in Way and around Way. And then he left my tent at 12 o'clock and went back to his tent. He shouldn't have been in that tent. We had the opportunity to move, and as far as we were all concerned, it was our right to move. We've been slated to move because we were in the line of fire. That was exactly where it went, right down there. And we wanted to move somewhere, anywhere else, just to get out of the line of fire that they used to shoot at the air base, the airport, and the airstrip, and the petroleum, and the TOC. But according to the way we hear it, our major acquiesced to a lieutenant colonel who was not his superior, but was in the Signal Corps and therefore outranked him. And he told the colonel, well, Colonel, you can move your men. That night, you can move your men. So the Signal Corps moved, and my men died. The mortar rounds came the same way they always came, right down the same path. On the slightest deviation, a mortar round came right down into the tent, through the tent, and literally hit one of my men and exploded on Bob Wiedemann, and hit Ross Applegate mortally, and other guys were wounded. And you know, he spent the last night of his life working on his order of battle stuff instead of fooling around with his buddies. And that was my decision. And you know, I know it. And the next morning, that night, we believe one of our lieutenants took a shot at our major for allowing these guys to be one killed and the other mortally wounded with a rifle across an open area, because we held him responsible for the casualties. And the next morning, Ross was taken up to Quantry City to the hospital, and I called one of our guys up there, and I said, I can't get up to see him. We're leaving right now. We're going out to LZ Stud for the relief of Quezon. I can't go up there. How's he doing? He said, he looks fine, but he's going to die. And I said, he can't be going to die. It's not possible that he's going to die. How can he die? It's modern medicine. If he's not dead, he has to live. He can't die. He can't die. He said that they punctured his intestines and all the stuff is in there and they can't save him. And what do you mean they can't save him? He's alive. I never heard of you can't save him. You know, this is 1968. And he said, the doctor said he's not going to make it 24 hours. And I couldn't go. I wanted to go desperately more than anything. But it's the duty thing, you know. I was in charge of the advance party, and we had to go out to LZ Stud for the relief, and we were leaving right then. So I never saw Ross alive to say goodbye.